Welcome back to Maverick Tactical, everybody. I'm Sean.
And I'm Patrick.
And guys, here at Maverick Tactical, we are all about personal protection, tactical gear, and keeping you safe. And guys, today we have a special video going around on our knife series type thing here. We're going to be talking about Benchmade Knives, which is another one of our offerings on mavtackknives.com, our new knife website. So guys, we're going to talk about some Benchmades today, dive into it. Not a super deep dive in. We don't have a ton of different options to show you here, but just kind of show you an overview of Benchmade as a whole.
Yeah, so. Sean, today we've got just a few, like you said, a few offerings. I've got some of the things that a lot of people will know. When you hear these names, people know Benchmade.
Right.
1979, founded in 1979. They are out of Oregon now, all U.S. made.
Yep.
Very well made knives. One of our top 3 of knives that we carry
for sure
we're authorized dealers for Benchmade. The very first one that I think of a lot when people say Benchmade are the Bugouts.
Yeah, that's what I would consider their flagship knife. Maybe not some of you, old fans of Benchmade might not think that, but like you said, when you think of Benchmade, I think of Bugouts, the Mini Bugout, the full-size Bugout here. That's kind of just the knife, because axis lock is that's one of their main axis lock knives. That's what they originally came out with. I think that was their first design. They were the first to design an axis lock type style thing. So.
Also, I think, really when you think of Benchmade, originally you think of the balisong, or the butterfly knife. And so I don't even have one. We've got the Laro, the 82. We've got that one in our store. I've got the Necron. We've got that. I just didn't bring one. We'll do some more videos on it and check it out. But we want to just go over and highlight a few of the knives. I think, again, going back to the original one that I thought was, well-known is the Bugout. That particular color, my understanding from our rep was this was the number 1 knife
last year.
That was the hardest one to get, and the number 1 knife for them, which is the Grivory. It's a Grivory material.
Yep.
That material, I'll tell you, that's a number 1 thing that I think of with Benchmade, guys, is that a lot of people will pick up the Benchmade Grivory knives, which are which is
like
the
a
material,
polymer type material,
right? A lot of people, and there's probably 3, 4, or 5 on this table that are that material. And when you pick those knives up, a lot of times people will and they'll go, man. It's either one of 2 reactions that I get. Either people pick it up and go, man, this is lightweight. Man, I love that it's lightweight. Yep. And then I have people that'll pick it up and go, man, this kind of feels a little cheap. It kind of doesn't feel, it's not heavy. It doesn't have, but I want to tell you that this material is phenomenal. It's a really great material. I've heard of videos, I haven't seen it, but I've heard of videos where people have ran over them.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. People will run over these knives to test the durability of that material, and actually the inside mechanism breaks before any of that outer, the shell, what do you call it?
The scales
break.
Yeah. This particular one, I brought 2 examples. This is the brand new color for this year. And I'm sorry I don't remember the color on that, but that's one of the new colors. But I brought a couple of examples of that. I love the colors they incorporate into their knives.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really good quality stuff. I brought one of the next one, which I think of is the Mini Bugout.
Yep.
And I did bring Sean's favorite color.
Of course, I actually own that exact knife there, not carrying it with me today, but yeah, the old purple Mini Bugout. The Mini Bugout, for me, is the perfect size for everyday carry, and then that purple color is just absolutely beautiful.
It is a beautiful color.
They need to make more purple stuff, just saying.
Yep. So that's the Mini Bugout and the Bugout, and those are very affordable, good quality USA knives.
Yep.
They're in the 150 to 180 kind of range until you get into some of the aluminum.
Some fancier.
You get into carbon fiber or aluminum.
Right.
Now you're in the 200s.
Yep.
But you can get into these for that price point. One of the next ones I think of, the Osborne, really well known knife as well. This happens to be the copper color that was new for last year, I believe.
Yeah, you would traditionally see this knife in like an olive green color with a purple spine on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the new copper color. And this one happens to be an automatic button press, whereas I think traditionally they were axis lock.
And so they do have both. They have both in the olive green and in the copper. You can get it in an auto, which is what you see here, or the axis lock.
Yep.
So that's the Osborne. Which one do we want to look at?
We'll go the Griptilian. That's kind of one of their more well-known traditional Benchmades there. I feel like a lot of the older Benchmade, you know, experts would probably see this as one of their flagships.
Yeah,
the old Griptilian.
I agree with that, and that's why I brought this one, because when you think of Benchmade, that is another one you think of, and again, you're in that $150 range.
Yeah.
So a good solid knife for $150
for sure.
And then, of course, more if you still want to stay old school, kind of, you get into with the wood.
Yeah, that's the Grizzly Creek there. Yeah, I think that's a fairly new-ish style knife, but it's got that, you know, older feel to it with that wood, and it's actually like a resin finished wood. So they say, you know, it's waterproof. Any fluids or anything won't actually soak into that wood. So it's actually really cool how they finish that wood off.
By the way, guys, we talk about the quality of the Grivery material down here, but with the wood, it's really nice, good quality wood. We actually had a guy bring one in recently this year where the wood had actually split off here on the end, and we sent it back, and Benchmade put all new scales on it.
Yeah. So that's something to talk about with Benchmade, is they have one of the best warranties in the knife game. You know, you'll see them advertise their Life Sharp warranty, which is free sharpenings for life. So they'll sharpen your Benchmades for you, just send them into them. But even stuff like that, you know, a scale gets chipped or any of the mechanisms stop working as intended, just as authorized dealers, you bring it to us, we ship it back to them. They take care of everything and ship it right back, and you have basically a brand new knife at that point.
Another good example, we just got an Infidel back.
Yep.
Just got it today, right?
Yep.
We just got it back. A guy had brought it to our store. It had stopped going in and out, and we sent it back. Goodness, they almost replaced.
Yeah, there was a sheet saying everything they did to it, you know, to fix it, and the whole list was essentially a new knife. I mean, they replaced everything minus maybe did they replace the blade?
Original button? Yes, they replaced the blade.
Geez, yeah. So,
and the only thing I think they didn't replace was the actual button, and the clip. They didn't replace the clip. The clip was fine, but even the scales, it said the right and the left.
And I mean, I didn't think there was anything wrong with the scale, but hey.
But wow.
Yeah, Benchmade's really good with their warranty.
So good quality. You know.
They stand behind it.
Right.
You know, it comes good quality, but if there is something that happens to it, they stand behind it. So,
hey guys, you know how it is with manufacturing. You know, good quality companies try to do the best they can. They have QC and all that, but inevitably, with a mechanical product, something can happen. It's the bottom line is exactly what you said. How do they stand behind their product? And so with Benchmade, they do a great job of standing behind the product.
Yeah.
The next one I wanted to look at was the Mini Adamas.
Yeah.
I do love this knife. This is one of my favorite Benchmade knives.
Oh yeah.
Especially this particular one. This is the marbled carbon fiber.
Yeah.
And
beautiful.
You know what sets it apart, right?
Oh yeah. It's the axis lock automatic. So it's not your standard button press automatic. It uses that same axis lock pull down, but then it just flips right out.
And then to top it all off, the blade, Magna Cut.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's the coup de grace on this one, guys. You got the cherry on top. You got, marbled carbon fiber, axis lock auto, and Magnacut steel. Great knife at a very reasonable price for all the things that you get with that.
Yeah, Benchmade in general, they use quite a few different steels on their knife blades. I think most standard on their Bugouts S35V, which is just a great steel. That's why they're good for everyday carry. But Magnacut's the newest steel in the industry. That's, you hear Magnacut, you think of a high quality, you're spending money on a knife, and that right there has it all. So yeah,
very corrosion resistant.
Oh yeah.
If you're working in water, around water, you want that Magnacut. It's a 10 out of 10 for corrosion resistance. One of the nice features on this knife too that not a lot of knives have now is the lock. So right here on that back, you've got the lock. So if you want to lock that to where you can't actually move that, that's a pretty cool feature as well.
Yep.
So something that, a lot of features on that knife, and that knife's in the mid 300s maybe.
Yep.
Somewhere in there. All right, and then let's go to the Claymore.
Yeah.
Speaking of autos, right? So, and again, and a button lock. So we got a lock on it as well. So the Claymore is a very popular knife, very tactical knife, right?
Yeah.
They make this in a full size, which is what I'm holding in my hand now. And then they make a mini, which is basically the same thing. It's just
a little smaller.
Yeah. I don't know what percentage less, but what would you say, 70% the size maybe?
Probably, yeah. It's honestly probably like a mini Bugout size.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway.
So those are really cool, very popular knives. An auto as well. And where, the other thing too, where some of the other brands use particular certain steels pretty much, Benchmade's kind of all over, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They use quite a bit of different steels. That's D2 there. We got Magnacut, S35V. They have their own steel crew wear that they make,
right?
With the
and that's Crucible. In the Shootout, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, they have a lot of different steels. Some of the other knife companies use proprietary steels that maybe are their own, and they kind of go all the way through with their knives with that. Benchmade uses a lot of different steels for various applications.
Exactly. It depends on the application for sure. That's important.
So let's look at a couple of out the fronts. Of course, the Infidel I think of is one of the most infamous.
The OG.
Right. But I don't have one of those.
Let's go to the Claymore since we just talked about the Claymore,
Yeah. So you got the Auto Claymore. Well, now you got the OTF, or out the front, by the way, in case you didn't know that. OTF is out the front. And you've got that. So really beautiful.
And then their little new serration styles, really cool. Looks sweet. I wouldn't want to sharpen it, but it looks cool.
So that's the other thing too. So when people talk to us about serrations, I don't want to, I don't want serrations because how am I going to sharpen that?
Yeah.
Hey, that's legit. I get that. Here's the deal. When you buy from us as an authorized dealer from Benchmade or some of the other brands that we have, you send this back, Benchmade sharpens it.
Yep.
There's no cost to you to do that other than
the shipping cost.
Getting it there. That's the only cost. Other than that, they'll sharpen this and get it right back to very sharp status. This is a double-edged dagger. Again, like Sean said, with the serrations, very cool looking knife.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, that Ivory material, very, very lightweight knife, guys. And nice action. So that's the full size Claymore out the front. And again, there's a mini Claymore OTF as well.
Right.
Just like you got the full size automatic Claymore, you got the full size out the front Claymore and minis that mimic both of those.
Yeah, I would say probably out of all the knife brands we carry, Benchmade has the most selection. I would give them props on their selection. Where I guess it could be a good thing or a bad thing. You have a lot of options when you're looking at a Benchmade, but again, you have a lot of options, so you can make a decision based off of what you like and your preference. So I think that's a cool thing that Benchmade does, is offer a wide variety just depending on what you like.
Right. So, whereas a lot of other companies offer maybe a lot of out the fronts, or another company may offer a lot of automatics.
Yep.
Benchmade does a few of all of them, right?
Exactly.
So speaking of more out the fronts, we got the Shootout.
Yep.
This happens to be that, I believe it's a cobalt blue, I believe is the color, with that FDE blade. Beautiful blade combination color. Again, Gravery material. So you're going to have that really strong polymer material.
I do want to point one thing out about the Shootout that I love versus some other OTF companies.
It's just a single edge.
I do love my single edges, but it's a Tonto. It's a Tonto. Beautiful. But anyway, the button here on the top is like peaked quite high, so it gives you a lot to grab onto. Versus a lot of your other OTF companies do not have a lot to grab onto up there. You know, it's not a huge deal, but just having that more of a peak just gives you a lot. It makes it a lot easier to pull in and out.
And also, too, guys, you know, on these out the fronts, it takes time. If you've never used an out the front knife before, ever, you're going to come into our store, or if you order one online, you're going to put this in, and a lot of people really, they're like, oh, you know, is it going to work? Is it going to work? You'll get used to it.
Yeah.
It takes a while to kind of get used to pushing it, but once you get used to it, it's really smooth and really cool. And I just love out the fronts. I'm an out the front guy. That's mostly what I carry now, but that's just my personal opinion. The last one we want to show you that we have here today is going to be the SOCP, or a lot of people call it the SOCP. And that is a dagger blade. So this comes with a sheath that I don't have here that would go right here in your pants. Typically, you can put it, you know, in a plate
anywhere
or side or whatever. But if you had it right here, you'd be able to come up, put your finger in it, and then pull it out, and you've got a dagger. This is a very popular blade for tactical guys, whether they're putting on a plate carrier or carrying it on them.
Yeah, a lot of police actually, I've heard, love that knife. So, yeah, it just, I mean, it kind of is what it is. Just a fixed blade dagger. Just have it on you for when something goes south, just ready to pull out and go. So,
and they do make this in a couple different versions. They make a single edge and they make a shorter double edge. Yeah. I like this longer dagger look.
Yeah.
Longer blade. So really solid knife for the price point. I want to say that's in the 120 range.
Yep.
So that's a solid knife. That's why we sell a lot of them, honestly, because of the price point, I feel like, as well. And is that, do you know, is that D2?
I'm not familiar.
Sorry, guys. I put Sean on the spot on that.
440C.
Sorry. Yeah. Yes, it's a stainless steel, but great knife there. So, yeah, that kind of wraps up our Benchmade knives.
Yep.
The ones that we have here today. There are plenty more. I just brought just a small sample and some different blade styles and some different
just to give you kind of an overview. But, yeah, guys, this is Benchmade. We've have some other more knife videos coming out soon of different brands. Make sure to check those out. Make sure to go to mavtackknives.com to grab your own knife. And thanks so much for tuning in, guys. If you have any specific knife you see here that you want us to deep dive in, maybe a single video, we check out a single knife, let us know in the comments. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.